big breaking news to talk about today on today's show. And of course, it's Aaron Rodgers being traded to the New York Jets. And this is what the trade goes down. The Packers receive the 13th pick overall, the 43rd overall pick, and the 207th pick overall in this 2023 draft. They also receive an additional 2024 second-round pick that could be a first-round pick if Rodgers plays over 60% of the plays in 23 for the Jets. And on the flip side, the Jets receive, obviously, Aaron Rodgers, the 15th pick overall, and the 170th pick overall in the 2023 draft. Aaron Rodgers will not wear number 12. He will be wearing number 8. So, team, what's Rodgers' value now? What is Rodgers' value as a New York Jet now? Dynasty, redraft, whatever you want to say.
All right. I will say, so comparative to last year, he's probably in a better situation. I think the offense will be a great they have tons of offensive weapons. Once Breece Hall comes back healthy, I mean, this could be one of his better sort of setups he's had in a long time, with Garrett Wilson really coming into his own. The offensive line looked great. Defense is solid. So I think Aaron Rodgers is going to step into an awesome role and be totally fine. So wherever you had him sort of ranked for redraft last year, you could probably plug him in low-end QB1, high-end QB2 again this year, with those big spike weeks. But Dynasty, it's still Aaron Rodgers. He could quit at any moment. I mean, I'm not investing in any sort of super flex dynasty format, anything like that. Like I still like whatever I was hands off with Aaron Rodgers last year, I'm going to be hands off again this year. So maybe it opens up a window for you to trade him if you have him in dynasty formats, but that's kind of how I'm treating it. I don't think he's going to get this like second lease on life in New York and all of a sudden play for 5 more years. Like it's just, so I think the trade is crazy. When I heard the details of the trade, I was kind of shocked. I think the Jets, minimal investment to maybe have, Hall of Fame quarterback for a year or two. You're only trading back 2 picks in the first round. And then all of a sudden you're giving up a second, a 6th, and a potential second next year. It's like, yeah, of course I'll do that for Aaron Rodgers. So, great trade by the Jets. I think Packers were kind of held over a barrel. And yeah, for fantasy, wheels up on everyone in New York. I think this is just good news for all those pieces. So, yeah, I feel good about it. I'm actually shocked. I'm shocked. I feel this, news. We're all reacting to it kind of live. I'm kind of shocked how comfortable I feel about Aaron Rodgers now for at least next season in redraft format.
I want to wait till preseason to see when he gets in and when he starts working with second-year players like Garrett Wilson. If last year was any indication of the timing that he needs to be at least fantasy compatible with his wide receivers, I think it's good for Allen Lazard. I would pick up Allen Lazard quickly. In redraft, I don't really do much dynasty, but I would pick up Allen Lazard. Garrett Wilson, he performed with what he had last year, so you would think that he would be okay with Aaron Rodgers. But we know what Aaron Rodgers is and who Aaron Rodgers is, and we know who he asked to be there. So will Garrett Wilson still get the plum share of the targets? Or are they going to go to Lazard or someone else that Rodgers figures out that he favors more than Wilson? I would wait. I'm going to wait till preseason. I think it's good for Aaron Rodgers, but of course it's good for Aaron Rodgers. Why would he do something that's not good for himself? So their schedule is not bad. I mean, yeah, the Browns, the Patriots, the Bills. He's going to have a little bit of struggle, I think, but I'm not I would pick up Aaron Rodgers in a 2-quarterback league. I don't know that I would pick him up in a 1-quarterback league right away. But like I said, I think it's really good for Lazard. The offensive line is really good. I think it's Breece Hall comes back full force. It's really good for Breece Hall because now they won't be able to stack. But as far as Wilson and Rodgers, I'm going to hold off for a little bit.
Yeah, no, like I said, I mean, obviously, this was a trade that was coming. It just had to get done, obviously, at some point. Yeah, I think at this point, you're looking at what Rodgers did last year, 3,600 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Again, maybe he brings down the turnovers a little bit on terms of that note. But I mean, he was, just a borderline QB1. And I think that's what you're getting at him. He's also 39 years old. Let's not forget that. And he's with a team that is pretty much, in terms of talent, just about the same what he had last year for the most part. And so I don't really see him taking another step up. He's good in a super flex league for dynasty. If you're a contending team, he's a good QB2. Love him for that. But as a 1 QB league, I'd probably wouldn't really go after him right away. But if you really like that low end, I take a QB later in drafts. Definitely a good option on that note there. He's got the weapons around him. Overall, Rodgers should be solid. It's good for the Jets. Obviously, the Packers obviously grabbed a lot of picks to help out Jordan Love. But how do you guys feel? Who do you like? Who positively impacted? Who's negatively impacted? Who do you guys feel, was impacted on this?
For the Packers or
both teams? Whatever, either team.
I think there's a lot of pressure on Jordan Love now, and I'm not sure that Jordan Love is going to be able to ascend to the pressure. I don't think he's going to be really bad, but the pressure is for him to perform not as Rodgers last year, but as Rodgers at his peak. And I don't know that the kid has it in him. I think it's a negative impact for any of the wide receivers on the Green Bay Packers. Like I'm not rushing out to get any of the wide receivers on the Green Bay Packers. I think it positively impacts Breece Hall. Breece Hall is right now the New York Jet that I would want to pick up like early and often, because if he's healthy, if he comes back completely healthy, I think he's going to be a stud. He was going to be a stud anyway, but now they have to worry about Rodgers, even like a slightly impotent Rodgers. They still have to worry about him, and that is only good for Breece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. If I had to boil it down to one person on the Jets side of the ball, it would probably be Breece Hall. I think he's just going to benefit the most. I mean, it's the quick reaction, be easy to say Garrett Wilson, and I do think it helps Garrett Wilson having a Hall of Famer throw you the ball. So I just think the scoring opportunity tied in with the big play potential that Breece Hall showed us, he could be in line for a ton of yards and 18, one of those weird 18, 20 touchdown outlier seasons and be able to mix in a 50, 60 yard run every once in a while. So yeah, I think it's awesome for Breece Hall. The question is health. So as we get to training camp and we hear news and all that, if he's fully good to go, then I would gladly take Breece Hall often in redraft.
I have a question though. Are they keeping Zach Wilson? Was Zach Wilson still a Jet?
Yes,
that is a good question.
Zach Wilson should still be on the team for this year as the backup.
I
don't think they release him, and I don't think they trade him because I don't think anyone wants him. So I think he stays on the team for the year. So
maybe here's the thing, because they don't have Mike.
They don't have a backup really.
They don't have Mike White anymore, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
They signed somebody like a really journeyman kind of quarterback. I think I can't think off the top of my head, but it should be Zach Wilson. I'm pretty sure. I don't think the team was going to get rid of him just because Rodgers was there, at least.
It's funny to me, like, and this has nothing to do with fantasy. This is more just like football operations, but it would be interesting to me to even keep Zach Wilson around in your locker. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's
it could be a good thing for him to learn behind Rodgers and maybe gain that experience that he just doesn't have. That could be a benefit.
Your team wore another quarterback's face when they got on a plane. I mean, they clearly don't like you.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like nothing seems like it's going to work out. For all of a sudden, Zach Wilson's going to like figure it out and lead the Jets. Like, he's just not. It's just never going to happen. So why are we even wasting our time? Trade him for a 5th round pick. Maybe we'll get something. Who knows? Like, but it just feels like a waste of time to even keep him around. But who knows? I'm not the GM of the Jets, so it's interesting. And on the Packers side of the ball, really, I think it obviously negatively impacts everybody. I think for redraft, everyone's taking a big hit because Jordan Love's going to struggle. The question is, to me now, if you have some of these, like, Aaron Joneses, even AJ Dillon's. If you're in any sort of dynasty or even keeper format, like I'm looking to trade these guys away. Like, when do we see the Packers get good again? Like 3 years? It's like, okay, well, who cares about Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon at that point? So any piece that you can get value of, because the Packers are going to be in a weird situation for the next couple of years, and I don't really want any offensive piece of that. So while they're figuring out their offensive woes, just move on from those pieces now while they still have value. So that's my only advice there.
I don't think they have value now. I mean, who's trading for AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones? I don't want them on my team now.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe in the season they actually perform because they're leaning on the run. Maybe then use that as a way to trade them, because running back has value during the season.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's more for those people who are like, well, let me wait and see what Jordan Love does. It's like, I just think you're hanging on to a hope and a prayer. And if he does, even by the time he figures it out, it's the end of this season. Every running back's now a year older. It's like, all right, so that's how I would kind of play it for the Green Bay side.